Alright, so looks like the tail end of your video got cut off, but I think I got the gist of your question or your challenge, and I'm going to try to answer it, and if you end up taking this video down and posting another one to finish what you're going to say, I'll just make this reply to that one. But can we prove that the universe is more than a superposition of neurons? Can we prove that there's anything outside of our sensory perception? Um, I'm gonna say no, but um, it's not just no, because there's a way to look at this such that what we mean by our brain's sensory perception is in no way separate by what we mean by evolution, because the brain, being a product of evolution, um, has passed through a world, a changing environment, and adapted in some way, both because of environmental selection and natural drift, just the general variation that an organism moves through as its own, you know, emergent property or complex system within the environment. And so the brain isn't just what's going on here and now. Me in my room talking to the camera, you know, hearing the birds outside and the sun through my, seeing the sun through my window and all that. That's definitely part of the superposition of the neurons, but so too is the entire history of the development of the nervous system, my organism, and the material planet, the solar system made of mostly hydrogen and helium gas and you know, a few a few pounds, relatively speaking, of some heavier elements. Um, all the way back to the Big Bang, all of this development through time is what this nervous system is. I mean, this nervous system mirrors or contains within it, implicit in its structure, that entire history. Um, and so our perception is obviously of something. I mean, it's of itself, I would say. If there is no separation between my consciousness and the rest of the universe, if the observer and the observed are not separate, which I think quantum physics, if it says anything that we can all agree on, it says that. Um, as does, you know, any physics, really. There can't be something other than the physical world, right? Than atoms and molecules and organisms and their artifacts. Um, you know, and this anti-creationism stuff. Obviously, God, the creator, is an artifact itself. It's a symbol that we've invented using our cultural metaphors and mythologies, and it doesn't really have any empirical existence. It's an artifact. It's a creation of language or humanity or man or whatever we think we are, separate from nature. Um, but it obviously can't exist because we're not separate from nature. It exists only as an artifact, an artificial creation. Nature, though, is also, it's a creator that can't be named. Um, you know, like being, rather than beings in the world, but being itself, you can't really say anything about it. That's kind of like nature. You can't say anything about it without completely missing what it is. Um, so, can we prove that the universe is more than a superposition of neurons? No. But a superposition of neurons um, is itself the whole universe, or is it reflects the whole universe, the whole cosmos, all of space and time. Um, there's nothing outside sensory perception because uh, sense perception and the world are not separate things. It's not that the sensory perception just artificially creates the world. The world never existed apart from the sensory perception. Um, so instead of seeing this as solipsism, to say that we can't prove that a world exists independently of us. Um, Instead of doing that, we can see that there never could have been a world apart from us, but that what we mean by us isn't just this piece of meat in here in this particular time slice. The time slices are arbitrary. This brain has a history that connects it to every other brain, to all the other elements on this planet, and the rotational motion of this solar system. And I mean, think about the role that the moon has played in life developing on Earth, with the tides and the waves and the weather effects. That had to have had a significant role to play in the way that life evolved. And it just shows how everything in this evolving system is connected. The Earth itself, the crust of the Earth, has ocean and also the continents where it's dry, but somehow the clouds have colluded with the land to create rivers, and the topography of the land being mountainous allows the rivers to drain to the sea, and so this complex cooperation between these these seemingly unconnected systems, the clouds, the sun evaporating water, and the topography of the land and the ocean, allowing rivers to give life the opportunity to flourish even far inland away from the coast. Um, the amount of cooperation, even in the inorganic world that we think of as not living, is staggeringly complex, and it's almost, I don't see any reason to say that life begins when the first genetic code started reproducing these complex molecular reactions. Life was already quite evident in the world. You just have to look at it at a larger scale. Um, so nothing, the universe is neither dead nor alive in the sense of alive being something other than dead. It's all the same process of waving and playing and dancing. Maybe it's the vibration of strings. That would be a beautiful, grand unifying theory if string theory actually turns out to be true, in whatever sense the word true might take in that particular context. That the universe is a musical, it's a musical thing. It's vibration, and what arises through the relations between different vibrations, like chords. Different notes produce chords, just like different combinations of atoms produce different solar systems, which give rise to different life forms on each planet, and so on. So, I guess I really rephrased the question that you're intending to ask, but maybe you'll agree with the direction I took my attempted answer, because I certainly couldn't prove a world independent of the brain, but maybe I resituated the brain and its experience of itself. So let me know what you think.